From annoying hags shut up to your best buddies. If there's one thing that can either make or break a Zelda game, then it is companions. But will Zelda Wii U have them? And in this case, who or what should it be? Welcome to Zelda Ultimate.
Since the introduction of Navi the Fairy in Ocarina of Time in 1998, companions have been a must in Zelda adventures, appearing even when the legendary Master Sword didn't. However, there's a possibility that this might change with Zelda Wii U, as there are no traces of any companion or companions apart from Link's trusty mare, Epona, implying that for the first time in 18 years we might be without a given companion in a 3D Zelda game, but more on that possibility later.
For now, let us just take for granted that there will be a pre-selected companion in Zelda Wii U. But what kind of creature should this be, and what personality and character should it inherit? What is certain, the companion should definitely not drag down the game experience, and thus we can exclude annoying fairies or soulless robotic spirits. With that out of the way, we can stand with a handful of great companions, namely Ezlo, the King of Red Lions, Linebeck, Princess Zelda, and Midna.
The King of Red Lions was the first object companion in a Zelda game as a boat, or more specifically, spoiler in 3, 2, 1, the last King of Hyrule, Daphnis Nohansen Hyrule, who is a wise and determined companion, who gets a whole new layer in the moment when his true identity was revealed and how he faced Ganondorf and went down with his kingdom. Having the King of Hyrule as your companion would be awesome, but probably hard to pull off in Zelda Wii U as the plot twist has already been used in the Wind Waker, and even then we just had Wind Waker HD in 2013, so that most likely rules out the king as our companion.
But what about his daughter, Princess Zelda? Could she be our companion in Zelda Wii U? After all, it did happen with her spirit in Spirit Tracks, and it could happen again in the wake of the increased demand for a more actively involved Zelda in a 3D installment. Just think about it. Zelda as our companion could mark for whole new possibilities. Another benefit with Zelda is that her personality changes from title to title, so there are no obstacles in the way from making her a serious and independent character who will develop across the game.
Zelda would be an interesting and at the same time brave choice for Zelda Wii U's main companion. Don't forget Linebeck or Ezlo, two great Zelda companions who had great personalities and interesting backstories. Ezlo as a teacher and master of Vati, and Linebeck as a coward and greedy captain who underwent a heroic transformation to the point of showing true courage in the final battle against Bellum.
Alright, it's time to get over to Midna, as she's the star of the show both in Twilight Princess and in this video. But what's so great about Midna, and why should a similar character to her appear in Zelda Wii U? For one, she has a personality only Girahim can match. She's commanding towards her servants, but at the same time playful, emotional and determined with an unparalleled sense of duty. She's the perfect companion. At first you don't know whether to trust her, as her only target is to use you in order to reach her own greedy goals, but over time and specifically during her lament and Zelda's sacrifice, her personality changes and her selfish persona is replaced with that of a common belief with Link. In order to save the Twilight Realm, she needs to rescue Hyrule.
Her backstory as the elected and overthrown princess of Twilight is beyond compelling, and her irreversible goodbye to Link after gradually building a strong bond and partnership is probably the most emotional in the series. Navi? Fi? Give me a break. Only the farewell to the King of Hyrule in the Wind Waker can surpass the heart-wrenching destruction of the Mirror of Twilight after she has physically aided you throughout the entire adventure. Midna doesn't only point out things, she is a powerful, independent, and magic-wielding character to be dealt with, and without her aid, Link would never have been able to conquer the Twilight.
Her active role in terms of gameplay gave her a whole extra layer of depth, which brings us over to Zelda Wii U. Based on past experiences, we can determine that the companion in the next Zelda game should have a powerful impact on the player through a solid backstory, great personality, on-the-go development, take an active role in the actual gameplay, and aid in battle or in solving puzzles. But let us think outside of the box for a second. Maybe instead of one companion, there should be a number of them, and instead of having them predetermined, you could recruit them, just like in the Fallout or Elder Scrolls series.
Just imagine the possibilities. After playing for a few hours alone, you meet a character who asks you to help him with something. As the noble spirit Link is, he will obviously help, and after completing the task, be asked by the NPC if you would want him on your team.
The possibilities are endless. Recruiting soldiers, Gorons, Zoras, Skull Kids, Yetis, the Postman, or the Happy Mask Salesman on your adventure, how awesome would that be? All of them characters with different and unknown origins, and by doing this, Zelda Wii U could, without going into a linear path, get deeper into the hidden lore of the Zelda chronology. Preferably, these characters could have multi-stage side quests of their own and actually respond and react to the actions you perform. Or maybe at times, you could be able to take control over them, similar to the command melody used on Medley in the Earth Temple and Makar in the Wind Temple in the Wind Waker.
I'm certain that with the right implementation, a system like this could work as the forced companions in past games. This is due to Zelda Wii U being an unlinear and unbound experience, where the character stories might be more conveyed through side quests. Since companions are such a risky inclusion in every Zelda game, why not give the player the option to decide whether or not they want a companion on their adventure? And if company is desired, give us the freedom to pick our own partners.
Zelda Wii U's ultimate goal is to break established conventions, and if there's one that would be a relief to be released from, it would be forced companions, and instead replacing it with a number of companions to be recruited at specific points and locations around the game. This way, we'll not have to be constantly irritated by a nagging companion who constantly reminds us where we should head next or if the batteries in our gamepad is too low. If we find a companion annoying or unsatisfactory, we would be able to release them from their duties and replace them with a better model. Combined with interesting character stories and building a bond with the NPCs, Zelda will take another step to a brave new world of Hyrule and evolve the series to commanding heights. Exactly just as series producer Aonuma has stated in the past, the Zelda experience is all about handing control back to the player and let us control Link towards his destiny along with his carefully selected companions.
Over to some fresh news from the man himself, Mr. Eiji Aonuma. In a recent interview with the renowned Japanese game magazine Famitsu, he stated that
when we did Skyward Sword for the Wii, at the end stages of development I was in charge of the character's dialogue and the in-game text, and now as well it's like it was then. I had to work on text today too, but the game has really taken shape and things have gotten easier. That means things are progressing well. I think the base of our secret source has always been Ocarina of Time, but this time, the change in flavour will be like going from Japanese food to Western style food. Perhaps players will be surprised. Please look forward to it because I think we'll be able to make something new like Ocarina of Time was.
While making the latest title for The Legend of Zelda, when I look at this remake, I feel like it's the origin point of the new title we're making right now. After playing this game, you may have some "oh, I see" moments when playing the upcoming new game. So I'll be glad if you play Twilight Princess HD while waiting in anticipation for the latest title of The Legend of Zelda. It's not the save data itself, but part of the data saved in the Wolf Link amiibo can be brought over and used in the new title too. For some people, when they play the new title, they might feel the urge to play Twilight Princess HD one more time.
In other words, we can from this statement, metaphor, assume that A. The game we have dreamed about and speculated for years is nearing completion and is on schedule for November 2016 release. B. It will be a completely new and unique Zelda experience, no remake in other words. C. It will mark the definitive departure from some of the traditional Zelda formula. And D. Be connected with Twilight Princess in more than only the Great Bridge of Hylia and the Wolf Link amiibo. Are we getting a story connection in the child timeline to bridge the gap between Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess? Or maybe a sequel? More about that in the season premiere of Zelda Unknown next week. Before we close off here guys, I have one question to ask. Does this statement mark the end of the Ocarina chapter era in the Zelda franchise?
Yes, I think it is the end of the Ocarina chapter. Zelda games have been living in its shadow for the past 18 or so years, and it seems with all the changes Aonuma appears to be making to the formula, that he's desperately trying to shift the series in a new direction.
I don't personally feel like this is the end of the Ocarina chapter in the Zelda franchise, but I'm pretty biased when it comes to that.
games. With this, I wanted to give a big thanks to our guest RMFH and my co-host Zeltik for joining us for this episode of Zelda Ultimate. Please like, share, comment under the video, and most importantly subscribe to Commonwealth Realm, Zeltik and RMFH. Links to the channels are on the screen and in the description down below. And in terms of the next episode of Zelda Ultimate, I will give you the following choice. Do you want us to cover Zelda's position in Zelda Wii U? Or Zelda Wii U at E3 2016? Cast your vote by writing down your choice in the comment section below. Until then, this was the Commonwealth Realm,
RMFH,
and Zeltik,
and we will see you guys and girls later.